She's being feisty right now. She's being a crazy baby. Come here. Ugh, you should see this. It is so cute. You being crazy? She being crazy. Hi everybody, and welcome to another knitting podcast video. My name is Holland, and I'm coming to you from West Michigan to hang out with you for another week. The conversation that we are going to be talking about today, I have technically two finished objects for you. Neither of them I started since the last time, but I've got two finished objects to share with you. I've got my one continuing work in progress, and I also have something really neat from the archives I want to share with you today. So let's hop into it. Let's get started. I have with me a friend. This is my cat, Pretty Girl. She is wonderful. She is the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life. I love her to pieces. And if we're lucky, her little brother is slinking around on the ground. So if we're lucky today, we might also get to see my other cat, Talbert. Talbert, if you go all the way back to my first episode, you saw him at the end of the video. But yeah, I have two cats, Pretty Girl and Talbert. Talbert, technically his legal name is Talbot, but we always call him just Bert. So we got Bert and Pretty Girl. Pretty Girl's here, Bert's down there. He's looking at me like I'm being a real weirdo because I'm not talking to him. So he's like, who are you talking to? There's nobody here. You're all here, and that's what matters. Let's get started with my finished products, my finished items, my no longer UFOs. They were never UFOs, they never had the chance to be UFOs. But my unfinished objects this week are two of the cutest little baby hats you ever did see. I think technically this one's not finished because I really want to put a button in the middle of that flower. These two were knitted on size US 6 needles. Typically I use my, oh there she is, in true cat fashion. Typically when I'm knitting these baby hats, I will use my DPNs. These are I need a minute. I guess she's not going anywhere. So I'm going over here. Typically when I'm knitting my baby hats, I use US size 6 or 4mm DPNs, my double pointed needles. I've got 5 of these in this 4 size, the US size 6, the US size 6. I've got 5 of these. And that way I can use 4 and then I'm just knitting with the extra as it moves along and goes on its way. I typically prefer to use DPNs when I'm knitting baby hats too because this is such a small circumference. When I use, oh, is it called the magic loop? When I use the magic loop, I find it's a little like, it's too in my way. I hate like traveling the yarn across the thing. I know this isn't much better, but for me, that's my preference when I'm knitting baby hats, is to use DPNs at this point in my life. Maybe in the future, I'll try out shorties. Maybe in the future, I'll try knitting with shorties, so that way I can just knit them in the round. But as of right now, I'm just going to use DPNs. This is the first one I completed. This not only is baby hats, but it's also stash buster, so that's really nice. I've got a lot of yarn in my acrylic stash that I'd like to start using up and getting rid of. I don't want to just throw it away because it's good yarn, you have to use it. So yeah, I'm just knitting little tidbits here and there. I started with the baby hat. This one I'm not using any special sort of like hat recipe for it. I'm going off of my Woodlings hat and just kind of altering it so it'll fit a little baby head. I still do need to block these, that's why this edge keeps rolling up on me. But these hats are both crown down. They start with this little 4 I-cord, and then I go down to here where I increase it to 6 stitches on each needle, do a couple more rounds, increase it more by 2, so then there's 8 stitches per needle, and then I do 2 or 3 rounds of that until I get to this part in which I keep increasing at different intervals. I like the different intervals because they give the little pointy top. It looks like a little acorn bottom. It looks like a little acorn bottom. I really enjoy it. I think it gives it a fanciful feel, a woodsy feel. I think it is very fantastic. With this hat, with the green and the pink, I have a scalloping detail. I think when I block it, the scalloping might not be more obvious, but it'll definitely be less like corrugated and wrinkled as we go. But I've got this beautiful little scalloping detail. I really love it. Because these are made with scrap yarn, I ran out. And that's okay. That's why it's so short here. I would have loved a longer brim. I would have loved perhaps even to try a scalloped brim. I've been seeing those online lately and I think those are really cute. But I ran out of yarn, so what do you do? Once I was finished with the pink one, I thought to myself, I need to make a second one because the intended recipient of this, they have twins and you can't just make one hat. So I made 2 hats. This one I think was much easier, not only because I know what I'm doing, but I did not include the scalloped detail. This one's a more feminine hat and this one is a more masculine hat. And I think that's okay if there's no color work involved. But this one does have a really great leaf detail. Both the flower and the leaf I crocheted. This one is held on by a knot. Well, it's not held on by a knot, but it's knotted. And I'm thinking I want to redo the leaf because it's not exactly as perfect as I would love it to be. I don't love how imperfect this cord is. It just looks a little janky, and I think I can do a better job than that. And these babies, these hat recipients, deserve a better job than that. So that might be what I do when I'm done with this video today, is just redo this hat. I think I'd also like to make a blocking video. If you've ever seen my Instagram, sometimes you can see I put, very rarely, blocking videos on it, but they seem to be a hit, so I should really do more of that. But those are my 2 finished objects. Please tell me if you'd like to hear more about them. But otherwise, that's all I got. I think they're pretty simple. Once again, crown down, I-cord, increases, and then 4 increases around the base, or around the head. I don't know, I'm running a bit of steam on this one. I think I'm tired of talking about baby hats. My one work in progress that I have right now is my sweater. This cable sweater is a sweater I am making for my partner, my love, my dearest. It features basically all over cables. I love this motif. I found an example of something like this on Pinterest, and I looked at it until it made sense. I doctored it a little bit to be more what I want it to be. And so now we have this great central detail. On the sides, we had 4 cable details going down from the saddle shoulders. The thing I love about the 4th cable detail is that it splits off from its buddies to create an underarm detail. I love that so much. Not only does it create that great underarm detail, but it also highlights the increases that you make for your underarm. Because when you put on a shirt, it doesn't just hit here and go straight down. It also increases to meet together under the armpit. So that's one thing I really love, that detail about this sweater. because it is a saddle shoulder construction, it also has the cable details on the shoulders. And this is a great example because it kind of shows you, if I hold it this way actually, it does show you how I constructed it. You can see where I started in this area here above the neckline, and I kind of short rowed and short rowed and short rowed until it was as long as I needed it to be. And then I picked up stitches. No, I didn't. I picked up stitches along. I might scrap all of that. My other work in progress I have to share with you today is my love's cable sweater. I've showed this cable sweater with you guys before. You've seen it before and you know some of the details, but some of the highlights that I really love about it are the central cables that go not only down the front of the sweater, they also go down the back of the sweater. It also has these lovely 4 cable details that start from picked up stitches on the shoulder of the sweater, and they travel down the body of the sweater. But this one, when it gets to the armpit area, I have increases for the underarm, and the increases are right here along the cable. So the cable actually splits away from its friends and meets the other cable at the other underarm. I really love this detail. I think it's a case of one of those, it's the details that matter. I can't imagine finding a sweater exactly like this at the store. And that's why I'm making it, because I feel like it, right? My love's sweater is a saddle shoulder construction. I love the shaping that a saddle shoulder construction gives to a garment. It's very structured, it's very intentional, you do it with a purpose. So in constructing this sweater, I started with the 2 shoulder panels. After the shoulder panels were completed, I casted on the back neck. Once I got those cast on, I picked up stitches along the shoulder panels to create the beginning of the back panel of this sweater. Do I need to find out a way to make this more manageable? But I picked up stitches along the shoulder panels of this and then just kept following my pattern down from there. This shoulder is knit in the round, which is pretty untraditional for cabled sweaters. I learned that cable sweaters are typically knit flat, so the front row or the right side of your work is where you would do all your cable details, and the wrong side of the work is where you would just keep on going with the pattern, don't worry about any details. That does make it super easy for me, because I love it when I'm on my wrong side details. I think it's so nice. I'm noticing how much like junk I have laying around. I'm at a different camera angle, you can probably tell, but I want some of this like sunlight. It's really nice out and I want to enjoy the sunlight. My window's open. Ah, love it. But yeah, to help me remember which side I'm on, either the right side or the wrong side, I'm using this stitch marker that I made myself. This stitch marker features a white wooden bead and a brown wooden bead. The brown wooden bead, when it's on the needles, is letting me know that I'm working on the wrong side. So that for me is the easy side. I don't have to do anything except follow what I was doing before. When I'm on the right side, or the white bead side, that's the side where you have to use your brain, you have to be conscious, you have to think, am I doing all of my twists in this row? Which part of this cabling will I be switching or just moving over one stitch? It really helps me keep track, especially because a sweater of this size, if you get interrupted and you need to put it down, sometimes I have a hard time looking at it and seeing, was the last row I did a right side row or a wrong side row? So this really helps me keep track. The other stitch marker you can see hanging out right here, has 6 white beads. No, it doesn't. It has 5 white beads, and it has a single brown bead. It also features 6 loops corresponding with each one of the beads. This is my 6-row stitch counter. It helps me count 6 rows. And the white rows are the, I don't want to call them easy rows, but the white rows are the easy rows in which no twist is happening in the cable. The brown bead indicates an action row. In the action row, that's where the twists take place. When I'm knitting on this, I typically try to knit at least 2 rows at a time, and I love saving myself the wrong side row as the row that I'm starting with. That way I can take that minute while I'm knitting it to see where in the pattern I'm at, seeing what I'm doing, and then when I get ready to knit the right side row, I already know what we're doing, so I can just take on from there. But I love giving myself the grace to start with the wrong side row, the easier row. Not only do I try to knit at least 2 rows when I'm sitting down to knit this, I have also been trying to knit at least 6 rows. That way, every time I pick this up, I can get a good twist in, one of these good twist sections. About every 6 rows is 1 inch too. I think when I measured it, it was about 7-ish rows. So if I can get 1 solid row, including a twist in, that means I've got 1 inch of fabric that I've created. So that's really cool. As I'm getting longer and longer in the sweater, I'm getting closer to where the bottom hemline would be. I'm getting so antsy. I measured it out, I think, and I did 1 row of twists since then. But if I get 6 or 7 more rows of twists done, I'll be done. I'll be done with the body of the sweater. Then I can start thinking of making the hemline. The hem can be as long or as short as I need it to be. The hem will probably be an easy 1x1 rib. That way you can see it following through in the pattern. 1x1 rib, 1x1 for the sleeves, 1x1 for the hem. But yeah, the hem can be as long or as short as I need. And I figure if it's a little bit too short, when I'm blocking it, I can just stretch it, block it, make it work. It's the beauty of the fabric. It's forgiving. It's wonderful. I love it. But yeah, I'm thinking before I do hemlines though, I should do a mid-project block. I should see where this project is sitting before I finish it. It is intended for my partner. He is a larger person than I am, so in a perfect world, it would fit. He has gotten the opportunity to try it on a couple times, and it fits. Oh, beautifully. It fits wonderfully. So it really gives me hope when I do end up blocking this that it'll relax it well enough that it will still fit with just enough ease to make it look good. Right now it is tight, but cables and ribbing does that. Like, cables are definitely tighter than if you were doing straight stockinette. But yeah, that is my one finished object. Here up close, you can see the last time you and I hung out, that's where I put my stitch marker. So since the last time I saw you, it's grown, was that like 2 inches? Let me see. All right, tape measure, movie magic. Oh, wow. Oh, that's grown way more than I thought. I was gonna say 2 inches, but no, it's looking more like 2.5, 3 maybe? Cool, I love that. I'm so excited. I'm excited for this sweater to be closer to being finished. The longer the sweater goes on, the further in the year the sweater goes on, the more hopeful I am that I'm going to reach my goal. And my goal with this sweater is to have it completed by the end of the year. Currently it is the last week of August. So September, October, November, December, that's 4 months. That's not bad. We got plenty of time. But yeah, this is my Love's Cable sweater. I've got 2.5-ish inches of progress since the last time I saw you. You already know all about the details and the stitch markers. That's all I got from that one. I feel like very soon when I get close to finishing the body, like I said, I'm going to do a mid-project block, but I feel like very soon we're gonna be picking up stitches for the sleeves. My plan with the sleeves for the sweater is to do them 2 at a time. I think 2 at a time sleeves would be great. Number one, with 2 at a time sleeves, oh god, I hope they're not huge. They might be massive. They might be huge sleeves. My goal with 2 at a time sleeves once I make them, I'm going to be using 2 of my US size 6, 2 of my 4mm needles on my longer cables. I heard someone say that doing 2 at a time on 2 longer cables just, I don't know, it makes it a little bit more easy, a little bit more workable. I like it too because then I'm not having 2 whole sleeves bunched up on 1 needle, then I have to navigate. But I think when I work on them, I'm going to knit them 2 at a time on 2 long cable needles. I also love the idea of working at them 2 at a time because if my tension changes from one sleeve to the other, that's a nightmare. And I think that's what happened with my pair of socks that I showed you the last episode. They are so long. The foot body is so long on them, and one's longer than the other, even though they're pretty much the same stitch count. I think my tension changed. And I guess that's what happens when you grow as a person. Things just change. But that's my plan with this. I will be hopefully starting on the sleeves very, very soon. We will see. That's my Love's Cable sweater. I hope you'd enjoyed me talking about it. We're moving on to the archives. The archives are items that I have created in the past, but I've never really had a great platform to work or to show them to you guys. My archives project I have for you today is a crochet project. And this was made, I think I was in college. I was in college still. I know it was made at a family's house because I was so bored. There's nothing to do in Hillbillyville. At the time, I was very much into Pokemon. Honestly, who's not into Pokemon?
I had Pokemon Go for a hot minute, but I took it off of my phone because it was just taking up too much and I wasn't using it as much as I like. Also, I love a simple game. They started putting challenges and stuff in it.
Anyway, this isn't a Pokemon Go podcast. This is my crocheted Magikarp hat. Magikarp is my favorite Pokemon of all time. I think Magikarp is supremely underrated, and I absolutely love it. The top dorsal fin, the dorsal fin kind of looks like a little crown, and it was funny when I was knitting it because my friend's cat was hanging out at the time too, so occasionally I would put this over the cat's head. When one of the points of the dorsal fin was completed, I put it on the cat and it looked like they had a little unicorn, so that was adorable. This construction for my Magikarp hat is super, super simple. I believe I started at the tail edge and you can see the increases. If I was a betting man, how many increases? 1, 2, 3, there's 6 increases around, and I think I increased every row, and that gave it that nice cylindrical or nice conical increase. Once I got to the body of my Magikarp hat, I obviously stopped increases because I didn't need to do increases anymore. When I got to the face of the Magikarp hat, I know I didn't want the lips and the mouth to just be a gaping circle hole. I know I wanted some shaping to it. So once I reached, I don't know, about this part, instead of just crocheting straight forward, I did some, are they still short rows when it's crochet? I did some crochet short rows that increased the length of the Magikarp's face area. It also made the mouth that really nice, interesting shape. That way, when I put my Magikarp hat on my head, I haven't done this in years. Oh God. It's so heavy. It's just so big. It's not the most forgiving either. But when I put the Magikarp hats on my head, oh, this is gonna mess everything up. It can still have somewhere to hold on to and not, like I said, just be a big mess. I love it. Not only does my beautiful Magikarp hat have its dorsal fin, it also has the underside fin. I forgot the name of the underside fin. I should know this. Ventral. It has the dorsal fin and the ventral fin on the underside of it. My Magikarp also hosts its fins, its other fins. This here is just crocheted flat, but on the top, the supporting part of the fin, you can see that I crocheted it and then folded it over double. Now that I'm really looking at this project, it's kind of obvious in places that I didn't know what I was doing as much. So it's kind of sloppy where I whip stitched it together. Honestly, it doesn't matter. I love it so much. If anything, or if anyone has anything to say about the construction or the quality of the construction, they can fucking deal with it. I'm not listening to them. The Magikarp hat also has 2 big bulging eyes and 2 pinprick pupils, just like the standard character that we know and love in the TV shows and the video games. Ooh, some other things this Magikarp hat features is its whiskers. The whiskers do have a slight curl to them. I didn't want the whiskers to be extremely coiled because it's not how it is. But it has 2 whiskers on each side using that lovely yellow yarn. This thing is 100% acrylic, so if you're wearing it while you're in a house fire, it will probably melt to your head. So don't wear this hat in a house fire. At the tail end of this hat, I just have a super easy semicircle. I wouldn't call it 3/4 of a circle, but maybe, 5/8 of a semicircle for the tail. You can see where I started here in the middle and then just radiated out. It also features a thicker double crocheted edge here too to help support, to help give some structure, even though it's pretty floppy, but a little bit of support is sometimes all we need in this world. But yeah, that is my archived Magikarp hat. I haven't worn this hat in years and years and years. It's been sitting in my closet, kind of not even folded up, honestly kind of wadded up in my sock bin. But yeah, I absolutely love it. I don't know if I can see myself ever wearing it out in public again. Maybe if I was going to like a Renaissance fair, or if I was going to a Pokemon Go convention or something like that. This area here looks a little like crummy right there. I don't know if you can see it. I wonder if it got too close to the wood stove. Who knows? But maybe, yeah, if I'm going to like a Pokemon convention or an anime convention, I would definitely wear it to something like that. But those days are not in view. If I crocheted this Magikarp hat again, I would, instead of doing double crochets throughout the whole of it, I would do some sort of scallop stitching to the scallops, obviously, are to mimic the scales that a fish has. I would do more scalloping throughout. I think I would also figure out a different way to make the crown of this like stand up better, although I really do like how it's floppy. I'm not mad at that at all, but I would figure something out to just make it a little bit more appealing. But otherwise, that's my magic carp hat. I hope you enjoyed hearing about it. It was a treat to construct. I absolutely loved it. Oh my god, it looks so stupid. That's the point of the magic carp though, isn't it? Oh my god. What a great treat. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Please let me know if there's anything you would like me to share more of. If you'd like me to go into deeper details on anything, I would love to figure out how to go into deeper details. Some things I would like to prepare for in my next episode. I would love to have some sort of visual of what is a work in progress, what is a UFO, an unfinished object, what are my completed objects, where are they, what are they doing. I'm imagining having a board with sticky notes on it. The sticky notes are nice because I would be able to take something, if it's a work in progress, and move it over to the finished objects side. That would also give me a nice little area where I can see like everything I've completed. A lot of things that I crochet and knit do tend to be gifts for people. So once they're given away, other than what I put on Instagram or social media, it's kind of gone. It's out of my memory. I have no idea the things I have made. That's also why I like including these archive examples. I think they're wonderful. This is just so great. I don't know why I put this thing away. But yeah, if there's anything you'd like to see more, if there's anything you'd like me to explain better, please let me know. Drop it down in the comment section. I feel so cheesy saying stuff like that. But let me know. Thank you again for hanging out with me today. I look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks. But thank you. Have a great day.